round of applause as he makes his way up on stage.
Very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the introduction. Thank you, our governor, ably represented by the deputy governor and the team that came with him. Thank you very much for always supporting this platform. I've been here many times and I've seen how strongly Lagos State has been able to support us. Distinguished partners, delegates, esteemed academics, policymakers, members of the international community, all our partners. On behalf of ASIN and Sterling One Foundation, it is my honor to welcome you to this year's Africa Social Impact Summit. We gather here as partners this week at a time when we are asking urgent questions about resilience, about equity, and the future of Africa and the emerging economies. I wish to congratulate our CEO. She's been amazing. I think we should give her another round of applause. I kept texting many people today and telling them what an amazing person she has been. It's amazing what she has done in 5 years. And like the MC said, just putting a few people together is a challenge. But to put 61 partners together is something marvelous. Thank you very much, Kweju. I congratulate you and your indefatigable team for putting together this important conference. ASIS has gone from strength to strength. I thank you for also the honor of inviting me to be the chair of ASIN. And on behalf of my fellow board members, I especially thank Sterling One Foundation and our partner, the United Nations Office in Nigeria, and all our esteemed partners for all you have been doing to make this platform what it has become today. The theme of this conference is financing for development, building resilience and transforming emerging economies. It's not just timely, it is existential. Across Africa, we face the twin challenges of financing growth and safeguarding our societies against shocks, whether they are economic, environmental, or social. Now, why does financing matter? Of course, without sustainable financing, development remains mere rhetoric. Financing is the bloodline of industrialization, the enabler of infrastructure, and the catalyst for innovation. It determines whether our young populations will inherit opportunity or they will end up in despair. For example, in sub-Saharan Africa, it is undergoing the largest and fastest demographic shift in the world in recent history. Between 2025 and 2050, the region's working age population will expand, adding over 620 million people to its labor force. This is close to 80% of the net increase across all emerging markets and developing economies. Just in Africa alone, we have a lot to do. And this is taking place in a global economy that has become turbulent, undergoing tumultuous changes, including rapid technological progress. And this progress is leaving poor countries further behind. The speed of change is unprecedented. The economic disruptions are unforeseen and happening all the time. The shift in relationships are sudden and often unkind to the most vulnerable. The Canadian Prime Minister at Davos last year highlighted the importance of redefining relationships and adapting to the rupture, not disruption, the rupture in traditional alliances. We must be proactive too. We must do all we can to protect our economies against shocks. We cannot rely on others to build our society. We cannot depend on others to build our country. And this is where resilience matters. Resilience is the ability of our economies to withstand shocks, from pandemics to climate change, from debt crisis to commodity price swings. We all just saw what happened with Iran. Resilience is not built on speeches. It is built in factories, in schools, in hospitals, in the governance system that protects the vulnerable. Above all, why does transformation matter? And I'm looking at the key words of this particular summit. And this is my favorite and a significant topic for me. I've written several books and papers on structural transformation. This is the long-term shift of sectors, especially from agriculture to manufacturing to services. This has been very slow in Africa. In fact, in some countries, there have been lack of progress for almost 40 years. And a certain anomaly has crept in, the skipping of manufacturing, where countries move from agriculture straight to sectors, the services sector. Sectors like services are very important. These are industries that provide intangible services rather than physical goods, covering areas like healthcare, finance, education, retail, hospitality, transportation, IT, and government. They are all very important contributors to our GDP. However, all the machines, all the gadgets, all the platforms that make this sector to thrive are products of manufacturing. Think of aircrafts, think of telecom, think of the phone, the iPad that you hold, think of your laptop, think of MRI machines, CT scans, trains, automobiles. Without a manufacturing ecosystem to make these, or at least for a country to make the ancillary parts, the spare parts, a nation's dependence on those who produce them becomes totally and hopelessly total. Remember COVID-19? Poor nations could not obtain vaccines for their citizens, while citizens of wealthy nations, the industrial nations who manufacture these vaccines, their citizens had double, multiple doses, while the poor countries look helplessly. And this is why also jobless growth has characterized our economies. Manufacturing is the engine of economic growth and the most significant source of job creation. This is why several African countries are stuck in what I call structural growth trap. 70 to 80% of our households are in quasi-subsistence. In the rural areas, poor farming, no knowledge, poor harvest, post-harvest losses. They harvest but no transport. They do these things but no income. It is why this summit must resolve to solve the rural and urban poverty as well. Poverty has become endemic in large swaths of our region. Not everywhere is Lagos State. You drive a few hours outside of this place, you'll be shocked how the rest lives. So we need to accelerate structural transformation. This means the current structures of most countries can never solve the job crisis. We need a new growth and development model. In this summit, let us boldly debate those solutions. Transformation is the leap from dependency to self-sufficiency, from raw exports to value-added production, from poverty to prosperity. Emerging countries, African nations must not only grow. Economies are growing in some cases, but they are still characterized by as least developed countries. I don't want to mention names. People say, oh, this one is growing at 7%, 8%. But at the end of the day, look at the per capita income. They are still least developed countries. Transformation requires courage, vision, and collaboration. Today, we'll hear from our leaders, innovators, policymakers, who will challenge us to rethink financing models, to mobilize capital stock effectively, and to ensure that every dollar invested multiplies into jobs, into resilience, and inclusive growth. We will learn from global leaders. We will learn from Asia. We will learn from everywhere. And we'll confront the hard truths. We must confront the hard truths. Without a country industrializing and becoming a producer, you will remain poor. And without governance that eliminates sunk costs and wasted stocks, Our hope of a better future will remain dreams. Delegates, as I conclude, this summit is more than a ritual gathering. It is a call to action, a call to design financing framework that empower communities, strengthen resilience, transform emerging economies, transforming Africa. Let us therefore commit over the course of this summit to move beyond rhetoric to action. Let us ensure that when history looks back at this gathering today, it will say, here, Africa chose resilience. Here, Africa chose structural transformation. And here, Africa chose to finance its own future at scale, and it did so through partnership. Welcome to Africa Social Impact 2026. Let the work begin.
That was a lovely speech. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a round of applause to the chair, African Social Impact Network, Professor Yebanji Oyeyinka. It seems you were here with us since morning, sir. A number of the things you touched on have been discussed extensively, and it has set the framework for day 2 as well.